It's Cooking with Cuisinart. Great recipes from master chefs. Now, one of America's greatest chefs, Hubert Keller, from Fleur de Lis in San Francisco and Las Vegas, the Burger Bar in Las Vegas and St. Louis, and Sleek Steakhouse in St. Louis. And now, today's recipe.
Well, today what I'm preparing is one of my favorite dishes and also the favorite signature dish from a burger bar in Las Vegas and St. Louis. It's a little burger, a little slider stuffed with some blue cheese, covered with some bacon that I have right here. I already pan-fried it nicely to make it nice and crisp. And what I will do now is cut some of the bacon out that I'm topping the burger with, and some of the bacon actually that I'm working into the meat. But first, let me move the bacon on my cutting board. And once I have that, so now what I'm doing, I'm just picking the nice pieces of bacon because that's gonna be on top of the burger. I'm just cutting it in a little angle, and then I reserve the little trimmings and everything that I will be working those trimmings into the beef. Okay, we have these 4. I just wanna make sure I have 8 nice slices of bacon, and the rest, like I said, I will be working into the burger. And of course, the bacon that I picked here for that particular dish is an apple smoked bacon. So I have that. Let me move those little pieces right over here. And then the remaining bacon, I'm just gonna chop that up really nicely, and then we'll mix that into the meat. So we're just gonna chop it up. Just like that. And that's really gonna come out really nicely, and the smoky part actually of the bacon really gonna work extremely well with the burger. So let me chop that up like that. Okay, once I have that, let me move the meat over here, and I'm just gonna, in the meantime, transfer that into the meat right over here. And that's my ground beef. And in the meantime, before I'm continuing with that, I want to prepare one more item. I'm topping actually those burgers with a little slice of sautéed pear. Let me cut it off. So what I'm doing here, I'm just going to slice the pear and cut the pear into half. So now I'm taking out that part of the pear. Okay, and we're doing the same thing with that. Just taking it out. And once I have that, I'm just gonna cut little slices of pears, just like that. Okay, we do the same thing on this side. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing with that, I will transfer the pear into a bowl. As you can see here, transfer it into the bowl. And then what I'm doing with the pears, I'm sprinkling the pears with a little bit of sugar, and then later on, that sugar actually will caramelize in the pan before I'm adding it on the burger. So to avoid also that the pears is oxidizing, basically, I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil. I just toss that, and my pears are ready to be seared off also. So once I have that, so let's finish now the meat, so the ground beef, which is over here. When I'm doing to the beef, I have the bacon already inside, and of course, I'm putting a little bit of thyme, a little bit of pepper, and definitely no salt. It's very important. I always season the burgers at the end with the salt, because when you start on putting the salt in there, it starts on curing the meat, and the texture will be totally different. So that's something to remember. It's very important. So now I'm just gonna work the bacon and the pepper into the meat. But what I really want to make sure is I get some consistency into that burger meat. So now it's ready to be worked, and I will share the little secret with you how I'm getting actually the blue cheese into the burger. So first, I will be creating 8 little mounds of meat, and then another round of 8. So let me just put that down before I start on shaping the burgers. Okay, so we're gonna make a total of 16 little patties. So now that I divided into 16 even proportions here, I'm gonna wet my fingers a little bit. It's just easier to work actually the meat so it doesn't stick on your fingers. So what I'm doing now, I'm just gonna create little patties, just like that. Okay, so that's the beginning of the burgers, and we do the same thing, just creating these tiny little patties. So I have my last burger here already, creating a little patty. Now comes the time I want to stuff it with some blue cheese. So I'm just going to take an egg and just kind of create a little cavity here in all of them, just like that. And that's where the blue cheese actually will come into the burger. Now I will distribute the blue cheese evenly into these burgers. Okay, so the whole idea of the blue cheese burger is actually the blue cheese is concealed in the center of the burger, and that's actually the surprise, and that's why people are at the burger bar are really surprised when they're eating it, and I guess I would say pleasantly surprised. So, and of course that blue cheese just melted in the center of the burger and develops that beautiful aroma to the whole beef by itself. So it's a great combination. It's basically a classic. It comes from the famous the filet mignon with the blue cheese sauce, right? That we all experienced it, but I just transformed it and made a burger out of it. So once I have that, you can see the patties. So now what I'm doing, I'm just gonna fold the little upper patty on top. And here we go. So you see what you're doing here. And then I will shape them again and just will create those little surprise sliders. Okay, so once I have that, so it's quite a little production, but remember, you can really create all these little patties ahead of time in the afternoon, right? And then once your friends are coming or when time comes to entertain, that's when you're taking them out and you put them on the grill or in a saute pan. Okay, so now you see, it's a beautiful little burger here. I'm gonna lower them on the plate, and I'm just gonna seal them all so that the blue cheese doesn't run out and doesn't reveal right away to the diner where the blue cheese actually is. Okay, so now, again, I just seal it really nicely, just like that. And then I create those wonderful little patties. So here I have the last burgers ready, so I'll move to the stove now and I will start on searing off those burgers. So now comes the time to season the burgers, and remember, only salt. I already put the pepper actually earlier into the meat. So now a little salt and pepper on both sides. I'm just gonna flip them, and just another layer on this side. So now over here I have my two pans actually that have been heated up, really nice and hot. So I will put a little bit of olive oil in there. And I will lower the burgers right into it. So, and of course you want to make sure that the oil is really hot so that actually it seals the burger and all the juices are staying in the center. So my burgers are nice and brown and sealed on one side. Now I will flip the burgers over. And I will lower the heat a little bit and cook them to nice and medium rare. And now is the time to start my pears. What I'm actually doing with the pears, I put them in olive oil and just cook them to a little bit to caramelize the sugar on it, but they don't have to be all the way cooked through because they're pretty soft and tender on the beginning. It's mostly about flavors. That's what I'm looking for to add it to the blue cheese. And as you can see, the golden color really picks up on the pears. And in the meantime, I think my burgers are ready. Okay. And then, of course, I will take the pears with me also. They are ready to go. So here I have my burgers and my pears. I will now transfer the pears on the plate just to take them off the pan and to cool off a little bit. Let me just like that without breaking them, of course. And now that I have all my elements here, I will start by building it up. So over here, I have all my toppings. I have arugula, I have some red onion sliced, I have some bacon, and my little cherry tomatoes. So let's start with the assembling. So first, I take a little bit of greens of arugula, and I put it on top here, just like that. Once I have that, of course, now I'm taking a little bit of red onion, put the red onion over here. After that, the burger comes in place right on top of it. And then once I have the burger, now I have, of course, a slice of bacon and a slice of pear that really, really works very well together. And then I take a little skewer with a little cherry tomato, of course. I take the top of the bun and we'll actually slice that through the burgers. And here is my first slider. So now that I have one ready, I'm gonna move that one out of the place. And of course, I just continue on building those burgers until they are all done, all 8 burgers. So again, the arugula, and then a little bit of red onion. And then, of course, the burger comes on top, a little bit of bacon, a little slice of pear. And again, my little skewer right there to hold everything together. And just want to make sure we really get it nicely through the burger. So that's the second one. And you see how beautiful they are. I mean, they're really nice and juicy and are lots of fun actually to eat them. Okay, again, a little bit the arugula and then a little bit of red onion. Of course, we continue here with the burger, a little slice of bacon. And then when it comes to find actually really smaller buns, sometimes it's a little hard to get. So what I recommend is to take a larger bun and with a little cookie cutter, you just can cut like 2 or 3 of these discs out and you really can play and create your own little buns for sliders right there. Or as another little trick, if really that sounds too complicated and you cannot find it, just take some hot dog buns and you cut them into 3 and then slice them in the middle, and you basically can build up the burger right into a hot dog bun, and that really, really works very well too. Okay, so now we're just gonna continue. So my favorite sliders are right here when you really have that creamy blue cheese in the middle with the beef. Actually, it works really, really well. And of course the pear, which is tender and soft. And at the same time, the apple smoked bacon right on top. You put the whole thing together. It's probably the ultimate experience when it comes to sliders.